It's been checked out, at least preliminarily, and appears to be very healthy, good shape, happy, so everything this has a good ending, okay, I guess is really what the good story on all this is. Things could have went really wrong and they didn't, and like I said, the animal is in a good, safe place now, is healthy and has been returned.
What part did Mr. Cuevas play in all this?
Mr. Cuevas, before he went back to jail, was instrumental in working very, very hard on running. I talked earlier about running traps, and so he was running traps, calling everyone he knew, calling anyone that he knew had contact with India, calling the people that he also knew that knew India, and just doing everything that he could possibly do. Once he was not able to do that anymore, his wife continued that hard work. Again, the McInvales, I don't know about Mr. McInvale, but for sure Linda McInvale, who is, I think, to some degree friends with the Cuevases, and she's also very much an animal lover. But a lot of people worked very hard to make this happen, and arrangements were made so a surrender could be had, and that being done in an anonymous kind of way. And we appreciate and thank the people that brought India back to safety as well, because they could have done another choice, and we're very, very glad that they did not. So this is a happy ending, and the tiger, I'll distribute pictures in a little bit here. The tiger is very happy and doing well, and was interacting with Victor's wife, in a very, very kind and gentle way, as well as with other people as well too. So we'll distribute some pictures, and it's just an incredible sight to see and behold. Very, very, very touching, very moving.
I'm sorry, who did the tiger belong to?
Well, the tiger belonged to the same thing I've told you before. Okay, Victor was there was DeAndre, and that's sort of the name he goes by. Also goes by D. But the tiger spent a lot of time with Victor as well. And Victor took after this cat a lot, cared for it, loved it, and it's back in a good place now. And when you see the cat like with his wife, when you see the cat with Victor, it's an incredible sight. The love that was shared between the animal and a human being.
How long did they care for it?
Well, the cat's about 9 months old, and so I don't know how early on they became involved in the cat's life, but obviously it was pretty early on. So I would liken it to a pet that you would have, probably 6 or 8 weeks. I would assume that. I think it's a reasonable assumption that Victor had been a part of this cat's life since it was a little cub.
And do you know if he had any previous tigers? He seemed really comfortable in the video, and kind of like he wasn't afraid at all.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any previous tigers. I think this started with Victor got a dog from this individual, and from there was introduced, to a tiger, and I think that tiger was probably this tiger. So I'm not aware of there being any previous tigers or anything like that. I think it was India, and so he was, even though I think technically not the owner, so to speak, of the cat, still a very integral part of the cat's life. Took care of it often, and took very good care of it. You saw the pictures already of the bed in the house and the kind of care and love that it received. And so, again, it's just a great result that the cat's captured, healthy and safe. And again, we thank a lot of people for helping and make this happen, including, the person that had her, and also obviously cared and loved for the cat as well.
So I guess the question would be then, how did the cat get to this person who's anonymous? Do we know?
I'm not sure I understand.
How did the cat get to the person who's anonymous? Do we know? How did it get to that person that called in and says, I have a cat?
Well, I don't know the details of that, okay? This all broke down. I wasn't integrally involved in today's transaction, other than I went there obviously when I heard what was happening. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if the cat changed any hands or not from the time that Victor had the cat on Mother's Day until today. I just don't know the answer to that. There may have been some hand changing, or there may not have been. But however it happened, and whose ever hands it was in, they obviously did take good care of the cat. Okay, and it was not injured in any kind of way, and is still very healthy and looks to be happy. And there's no indication that anybody was mean to this cat at all.
Any idea as to the future ahead for the cat?
Well, it's my understanding that some discussions have already been had with a couple sanctuaries, and so you know that was a very important to Victor. It's important to me, and I'm sure it's important to everybody in America, and maybe even to some extent to the world, that this cat have a good home from here on out. And I think it's very safe to say that the cat will be in a sanctuary somewhere and will live the rest of his life, very comfortable and nice and in a good place.
What does this mean for the case moving forward?
Well, for which case?
With Cuevas, with the tiger, if there's anything else that's going to happen with the tiger, with him, or?
Well, I don't think there's going to be any. I mean, I'm not the authorities that would have an opportunity to try to do something, but at least for Victor and for me and for his wife and for his family, this really wasn't about trying to do something for a case or not. This was about right and wrong and the love that Victor had and his family had for this cat, and making sure that whatever had happened and how it happened or how it didn't happen, he loved the cat and he wants to make sure the cat was okay, and that really took precedent over everything. So this wasn't anything about what outcome this might have on a case or not. This had to do with making sure that India was okay, and that was the primary goal. And from day one, that's what Victor said is, Mike, do whatever it takes. We've got to get the cat to safety and make sure that the cat is healthy and safe. And that's what we've done. So that's why we've reached out to everybody in the whole world to help. And a lot of people called, a lot of people helped, a lot of pressure was put on by a lot of different angles. And at the end of the day, I think it all helped. It all helped. And I'm very happy to say that India's home and safe.
Does Mr. Cuevas know the cat has been found?
I haven't told him yet, so I'm presuming that this broadcast is probably being broadcast to every house in the United States of America, including, the Fort Bend County residents over there on Ransom Street. So I suspect he knows by now, and the phone calls have been often and regular throughout the day. So I'm sure by now he knows. I'm sure of that.
Do you know if he plans to post bail bond?
Well, that'll be a decision that'll be made next week. It's a serious decision that the family's got to consider on whether they're going to be able to garner the resources, quite frankly, to be able to do that or not. It's a sizable amount of money. Even with using a bondsman, it's still a sizable amount of money. I don't think anybody has concerns that Victor Cuevas is not going to be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be. So I don't think there's an issue of flight. It's just an issue of just money, really. So we'll be working on that, and we're going to try to get Victor out if we can. And he is innocent until proven guilty, and there's been nobody that's proven him guilty on any charges at all. And today he stands charged with some crimes that are obviously serious in nature, and we take them serious. But at the same time, he's never been convicted of anything, and so he's anxious to get his opportunity to go to court and let the whole world know that this charge that he has against him, while we have sympathy for the victim's family, he's not guilty of a crime. He was defending himself.
And did you represent Mr. Cuevas before last week, before the Tiger episode?
Yes, I did. I've represented Mr. Cuevas since 2017, and so I know him and his family quite well. And of course, these things have just made the case more complicated. But in any event, like I said, Victor was insistent that